I'm here. 2 minutes late. Oh my goodness. Also, I'm trying sitting in a different place and I'm not really sure that I like it too much. But anyway, boring white wall background aside, I'm here. So today I think is Saturday. Yes. It's funny, I used to go out, not actually very much. I mostly just work at home and study at home and make my own coffee at home and whatever, but I had little things that I was doing through the week that helped me keep track of what day it was. So Wednesday was Chinese class and Friday was Zumba and so forth, and I don't have those things anymore, so a little confusing. But anyway, hi. I've been busy today and almost missed my 4 o'clock check-in, but I'm here. So, it is raining outside, and so I'm wearing my favorite rain hat, which I got in Seattle, where they know about rain, and obviously I don't need to wear a hat inside, but I like hats, so I'm wearing my rain hat inside to celebrate the rain outside. And I was very lucky today that it was not raining in the morning and I was able to get a nice walk in around the block. The stay at home or shelter in place, rather, the official term, shelter in place order does not prohibit taking a walk as long as you're observing social distancing, and so I took a nice little walk around the block and posted flower pictures from that walk on my page also. So if you haven't seen those and are looking for something happy, there are a couple of pretty flower pictures on my personal Facebook page, the Meredith Cherry one, not the Meredith and Apollo one, and also on my Instagram. So there's that for you. Also, I have a new update for my coloring book. I finished this one last night. Oh, there we go. There. So this was based on a picture that I took in where was I? Eastern Oregon. In Eastern Oregon in 2017, I went to a quarter horse race, so short track. I'd never actually seen a quarter horse race before that. I knew about them, but I'd never seen one live in person. So I took this picture at the race, and then I made a coloring book page off of it. So I think it turned out pretty good. I had a heck of a time with the racing horses, so not perfect, but I'm happy with it. So anyway, working on that coloring book, and with all this time sitting at home and not driving around to my couple of activities, all sorts of time to work on my coloring book. So I better move that before I damage it. Whoa, there. So at this rate, I would guess I might even have it done this spring or early summer, maybe. But I am still also taking, I don't know about requests, but feedback. How many coloring book pictures do you think would make up a good coloring book? I think I have 7 done now, which is certainly not enough for a book. So I have heard anything from 8 to 100. And I think 100 is ridiculous and there's no way that's going to happen. But if you have an idea of how many pages or how many pictures should be in this coloring book, then drop me a comment, because I would like it to be something that you like. And I'm trying to make the pictures so they are good for pretty much any age. So not super detailed, so kids could enjoy it, but also not super cartoony simple so that grown-ups will enjoy it. So fine balancing act there that I'm aiming for. I have a comment. Yeah, you came through upstate New York. I'm outside Cazenovia. Hi! I loved Cazenovia. That was one of my favorite towns. Especially the library was so awesome that it had a real Egyptian mummy in it. That's just the coolest thing. So, I have a lot of happy Cazenovia memories. When will I come back for my horse? Apollo is in New Hampshire, and he is doing fine for now, and I have absolutely no idea when I will be able to get back there. I bought plane tickets before everything got crazy. My plane tickets are for mid-May, but right now I'm not committing to anything actually, because who the heck knows how long this is going to last. I've been reading a couple of very well researched, very well written articles from credible sources about when we can expect the travel restrictions and social distancing and stuff to be relaxed. And there's a lot of different variables involved that I don't think anyone really knows yet. So I certainly don't know. I'm just waiting to see how this is all working out. Hopefully I'll have a better answer in 2 or 3 weeks as more data comes in and things maybe hopefully become a little more clear. I will be riding, yes, I always ride a different way every year. So this last year I went from Chicago to New Hampshire with a little detour down into Kentucky and then up through parts of New England. So whenever I get riding again, I will be going from New Hampshire to Maine, which is from the part of New Hampshire Apollo's in, about a week, and then south along the coast down to Florida, and then across the Gulf states, and then up to Tennessee and Arkansas. And that's about, including a couple of breaks for resting, longer breaks for resting and holidays, about a year of riding left. And so, and also it depends on weather. And it depends a lot on when I get started, because if I get started in assuming I can even start this year, if I get started in July or August, I'll end up getting to a different point in winter than if I start in May like intended. So there's a lot up in the air right now. My path will be the same, but how long it actually takes me to get to the 48th state, I have no idea. So we'll see. Tornadoes, no, I'm not too worried about. I do definitely pay attention to the weather, and I try to be safe with that. I've ridden in a bunch of storms, a couple of lightning storms, which I try to avoid, but sometimes it happens. I have been near some tornado touchdowns before, but not when I'm in the saddle. They all happened after I was done for the day. So typically tornadoes just don't come out of the blue sky. I know there's rare occasions when that happens, but generally speaking, you get warnings before they form and before they get to the point of touching down. So I do have contingency plans for if I ride along and see a tornado storm, which happened once in Kansas. I was riding under a sky that was rapidly turning green, and I said, oh, that's what happens when a tornado's about to start. And so I managed to get to a safe place and wait out the storm. And there was a tornado from that storm, but it hit down, touchdown, I don't know, like 20 miles further east. So not too close to be dangerous, but I do pay attention. I do try to be careful. Hi, Josh, who says greetings from Indiana. And there was another, oh, good, I can scroll. Let's see, there was a whole bunch of comments while I was yakking there. Down south, obviously, I also have to pay attention to hurricane season. But as I said, I don't know when I'll be, like, along the Gulf or other hurricane area to even know if it's going to be a risk. But those two, you know when there's a tropical storm forming, and to be careful and to make plans and make sure you have a strategy to not get in trouble. Olivia, excuse me. Olivia writes, ideas for the pictures in the coloring book. Maybe do tracings of the many photos you've taken. Yes, that's actually exactly what I'm doing. So I put it way over here. This one, as I said, was based on a photo. So I wonder if I can pull up the photo on my phone that you can actually see it. So it was originally a photo, and it's like half traced. Because the photo, when there's a dark horse against a dark area or whatever, it's hard to get a good look at it through the tracing paper. So there's the photo it was based on. And here's the coloring book page. So, yes, I'm kind of tracing it, but I'm also taking some artistic liberties when it makes sense to. For example, with this photo, the background there is it's hard to do when I'm not actually looking at the screen. See, there's all sorts of like paneling, and there's a guy in the rodeo arena, and like all sorts of garbage that wouldn't make sense in a, there's no garbage, but there's like clutter on the, as far as a picture goes, that wouldn't make sense in a coloring book page. You wouldn't know what the heck was going on. So I simplified it. There was like 3 trees there. I added more trees, and this was there like up to here, but then there was a building and it just looked funny. So there's some artistic liberty here, but it's kind of half traced and half drawn. So I do have a lot of photos. I have way more photos that will be fitting in the first coloring book, but that means I can maybe do more coloring books later if you guys like it. So, let's see. Oh, here's more comments. After the ride is over, do you know what you want to do going forward or future plans? No. I have lots of ideas. Well, yes, I do have the future plan of writing more books about the ride. I plan on doing a memoir, more typical, like chapter book. Not, yeah, like I have the short story books, but instead of being short stories, have it just be a big narrative memoir about the ride. And so I do plan on doing that. And I also have a couple of children's books that I have ideas for, but I can't do them until I've finished the ride because the ride, the rest of the ride would be an important part for some of the children's book topics. So I have some ideas for that, but they would need to be done after the ride. So I do have that planned for after the ride. Apart from writing, which isn't, like, obviously I'd like to earn a living off of my writing, but that's not really realistic. So, my fantasy is to be a best-selling writer from all my stories from this ride and live off of that. But other than that, no, I don't really have any plans. I'm working on getting a master's right now, and so hopefully that will help with getting, like, a real job. And let's see. Of course, horse plans. I do obviously intend to keep riding horses and doing fun things with Apollo, although I don't know exactly what yet. Nothing like this. Like, I don't plan on doing any more horse traveling, although I know other horse travelers say that at the end of their ride or before the end of their ride, and then when they actually finish and they're home for a few months, they're like, oh, I miss it. Oh, I need to go back out there and keep riding. So I wouldn't say never, but that's not in my plans right now. But there's all sorts of other fun things we can do, so I'm sure I'll come up with something. Yeah, I guess that's about it for plans. And what else was I gonna tell you about today? I guess that's all the show and tell I had. So, other fun and exciting things I did today. If you're looking for ideas of fun things to do at home, if you're stuck at home too, as most of us I think are at this point, I did my first online fitness class today on Zoom, and it was good. Wasn't great, but they're just new to doing this, and so they're trying to figure out the ins and outs of filming a fitness class on Zoom. So I, before this, went to Zumba every week, sometimes twice a week. And so the fitness center where I went to do Zumba classes is now doing a Zoom session for people to dance along at home. I love Zumba. It's so much fun. And I actually, we wear jingle skirts. Like half the class wears jingle skirts. So I put my jingle skirt on and danced in the living room, and so that was fun. And then my walk, which I mentioned, with the flower pictures. And I'm now doing yoga almost every day in the living room also. And both of my parents are joining me for yoga, which is cute. They're cute. So they've never done yoga before this week, ever. And so they are learning how to be yogis, and I want to film it, but I don't want to scare them off, so I'm not filming it. But anyway, it's good for all of us, so doing some yoga. And yeah, that's about all of my day except homework. So it makes it sound like I have a lot of homework, because every day I get on here and say, I did homework today. So exciting. I'm actually able to work ahead because it's an online class, so it's the beginning of the third week in the semester, but I'm working on the fifth week now. So Um, Nice to get ahead, and then when I finish everything, it'll just be, I can just, I don't know, binge watch BritBox or something. So I like to watch BBC mysteries while I knit, so that's why I'm always watching uh, some sort of BBC murder mystery while I knit, and I like to knit, so that's what I binge. So anyway, question, is Zumba strenuous? Can older people do it, or is yoga easier? It's like apples and oranges, yoga versus Zumba. But you can definitely do both no matter your age. But with both, there are different levels of difficulty. So for Zumba, it's tend to be seen as strenuous, but the fitness center that I go to near here, Rhythms Fitness Studio, is it has a lot of, how did you phrase it? Older people. We don't use the O word. It's people of a certain age. So, people of a certain age who are going to Zumba, and they even have a class that's just for people with limited mobility. And so it's chair Zumba, where they do all the dancing while sitting in their chairs. I guess like when you dance in your car. And so they do that sitting in chairs around the Zumba studio. So there are different levels you can do, and it's fun no matter what level you're in. And the great thing about it is that you can, even if you are watching, say, a YouTube something or whatever for Zumba, and it's too hard for you, you can just tone it down a little. So you can make it as hard or easy as you want. It's dancing based, but even if you have no rhythm, like my mom, luckily she doesn't watch my Facebook videos, so it's okay. It's still fun. Like, she'll even admit she goes the wrong way. Everybody's dancing this way and she's dancing that way. Everybody's on this foot and she's on that foot. So but she enjoys it and I enjoy it and we all enjoy it. It's just a fun time. So it's a lot more interesting to me than a more basic standard fitness class, I guess. Yoga I find to be a lot more difficult, but I'm also not very flexible. So I'm doing beginner's yoga, gentle yoga, easy yoga. There's all sorts of different words for it. But I never do the yogas that are labeled like energy yoga or core strength yoga or, like I can't. I don't bend that way. So, yeah, trying to stay healthy at home at my own level, and my parents joining in with me, which is good, and so we're also keeping it at their level, and so definitely there are options no matter what level you think you're at. And Lisa writes, I guess it depends on the individual and their stamina. Some facilities have dancing activities, so maybe that could work. Maybe use the music from their era. It's a bit less crazy. Yes. So like at my, where I go for Zumba at Rhythms, their early morning classes are more for younger people who maybe want to go Zumba before work. And so it's a lot more high energy, it's a lot more strenuous, fast, and the music for those classes tends to be more like hip hop, and Zumba's traditionally a lot of Latin music, so that's in all the classes, but tends to, in the morning classes with the younger people, tends to be more hip-hoppy and maybe some belly dance or something like that. Whereas the class that I go to, because that's the class my mom goes to, so we carpool, it's for it's in the middle of the day, and so it's more for retired people, and it's more at the level that you might think of for retired people who are still active seniors, but not as fast, more gentle, not so much jumping around, and still a good workout, but not like you don't feel like you're gonna fall over from exhaustion after 2 songs like the morning class. So lots of options there. And then, as I said, there was the chair class, which is for older people who aren't as mobile and need to sit. They can't dance around. They have trouble walking, and so they can sit and dance in chairs. So it depends on the fitness studio what's going to be offered, but there's definitely options available in the world. Maybe not in your neighborhood, but if it's not in your neighborhood and you'd like it to be, do something about it. Or look online for some option. But gosh, I didn't realize this was going to be the fitness chat, but that's cool. Whatever. Yeah, so any other questions for me? I don't know if any of you noticed because I'm at a weird angle, but I'm wearing a Christmas shirt today with snowmen and gingerbread men. So there are people around the country that I've heard about who are hanging up their Christmas lights so that there is something fun to look at if you want to get out of the house and go for a drive and take the kids out for something to see. There are people who are hanging Christmas lights, and well, we're not doing that at my house, but I do love Christmas, and I thought, what the heck, if I'm stuck inside and I'm not seeing anybody anyway and have to dress like a normal human being, I'm going to wear my Christmas shirt because I love my Christmas shirt. So there you go. And I can wear my hat indoors if I want to, which I do. So, there. It's the little things, you know? Like, there's a quote which I can't remember, and I actually have it hanging on my wall, but I can't see it from here. Something to the effect of, happiness is made up of a multitude of small things, or something like that. I really believe that. Like, even in these hard times, there's little things that you can do to make your day a little more happy. So, let's see. We have more comments. Belly dance wouldn't work for me. Slower moving is best. Our place is open now. You'd have to check in your area. I'm not sure, because every state is different for what's still open. Here, nothing is open as far as fitness, so it's all online now. But there are lots of YouTube channels. Zumba, I don't think is on. So, like my Zoom thing, you had to be, I think you have to be part of the studio to participate. But there's all sorts of options on YouTube, and if you have a Roku or a Fire Stick or some other streaming device like that, you can watch it on your big screen TV and dance in your living room, which is how I've been doing yoga, so that my parents can see very clearly what the instructor on the YouTube video is doing. Where is it? Oh, here it is. For yoga, I've been using the YouTube channel called Yoga with Adriene. Adriene. Yoga with Adriene. And she has like a ton of videos for yoga of all different types and levels. Like whatever level you're at with yoga, she's got it, I swear, on her channel. I haven't even been through more than a handful of them, but we've been using the one called Yoga for Complete Beginners. Since my parents are doing this now too, and they're complete beginners, it was a good place to start. And it's really not too easy, even if you've been doing yoga. It's just a nice, gentle yoga. Which is great for stretching. Ina says, also people are putting teddy bears in their windows for children to look for. I heard about that. I'd like to know if anyone in Nevada County where I live is doing that, because I have a teddy bear sitting in my closet that would love to come out to the window. And I've thought about doing that, but I don't know if that's like just a couple areas are doing it. So I don't know, but I might pull out my teddy bear and put it in the window just in case. But I think that's really cool. They're calling it going on a bear hunt, and people in neighborhoods put teddy bears in the windows, and then people with kids take their kids on a bear hunt and they go and look for bears. So that's cute. Bonnie says, not sure if someone else already asked, but you get frequent updates and pics of Apollo. I get at least once a month. I could get more often if I asked, but I don't want to be a pest. And so I generally get pictures once a month, updates several times a month, and sometimes extra pictures if I'm just missing him extra. Yes, I do get some updates sometimes. And so I was planning on asking for pictures in the next couple days. So I will be able to share those with you guys soon. And so yeah, Olivia says, do it. Why not? Well, so I don't know. I do make sure absolutely that I do get pictures once a month that are very clear body score pictures, and I insist on those anywhere I board him where I'm not there to check on him, because the first winter when I boarded him I did not ask for those, and they didn't feed him right, and he was skin and bones when I came back in May, and it was awful. And so then I got delayed. I guess I came back in April, so then I got delayed 2 months from starting my ride that year because I had to get weight back on him, and that was really upsetting. And so I always ask for monthly body score photos, because I don't trust anyone to actually tell me and not lie about it what his body score is. And so I do get those, but where I'm boarding him this year, the barn owner works full-time outside of the barn, and so while he does have and they're essential, so even if their state, I don't know if New Hampshire's been given a shelter in place order, but even if they have, they're essential, so they would still be going to work full-time. And so, you know, I know what it's like to work hard all day and then come home at the end of the day, and yeah, you're going to check on the barn and the horses and make sure they were taken good care of during the day, but then also to have to take pictures. I don't know. Maybe I'm too nice, but anyway. Olivia says, I remember that. It's horrible. Yeah, and it's a learning curve for sure. Every year I learn something new, And the first winter was how to make sure your horse is being taken care of when you're not there. And basically it's I will not pay my boarding bill until I get photos and make sure that my horse is okay. And so there's that. And Leah asks, do you have any idea when you can begin your ride again? Yes, and I answered that like just before you logged in. So for everyone who started from the beginning, I'm not going to repeat it again, but when I'm done, you can go back and watch the beginning. Excuse me. So, any other questions? This one's a long video today. So, I'm glad you are all joining in. It's nice to have a regular chat with people, and definitely appreciate all the comments this time. So, I'll be back again tomorrow, and hopefully some more fun stuff to share with you. So 4 o'clock tomorrow also, 4 o'clock Pacific, so that's 5 Mountain, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern time. And yeah, so I guess that's all for today, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye!